I'm sure a lot of you would probably have known me by way of your own private information. You've done a lot of searching, a lot of talking to other people, right? Trying to get information about this guy, the cost instructor. I've heard a lot of bad things about him. I'm very serious about this, and please take it from me that everything that you've heard is true. Very true. Okay. This is the bloody blah blah that I should go through. That's my name, my email address, my office hours. Okay. But if you wish to come at other time, just send me an email. Okay. Here, office hours, it means that the hours for my office. So my office will be there on at least every Tuesday between 5 and 7. Just my office. Me too. Right. So not just my office. Okay, agency problems, bloody blah blah here. This will be the stuff, the topics that we will cover in this course. Okay, and as you notice, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 topics. But if you take note, okay, study very carefully, think along in a scientific fashion, systematic fashion, you will see that there's only one thing that we study. And this is the same across finance topics. Take it from me. There's only one thing. We study frictions. Okay, capital market friction. This is what we study. We study, if you like, different aspects of frictions. Okay, so let's make life simple. So you understand finance more. Finance, financial economics. There's no need to go like, wow, capital structure, dividend policy, financing choices, separations of control. Right? As you will see. Okay. Much of the finance stuff that people talk about, that people try to study, once again, it's about frictions. If there are no frictions, then I wouldn't have a job here. Everything will be simplified and very easy to understand. And that will be it. Okay? But in real life, we have frictions. That's why we have problems. Okay? And frictions, I said frictions is plural. So how many types of frictions are there? How many frictions do you think there are out there? One. One, in the main one. Okay, and we'll see. One is enough to cause a lot of trouble. Cause a lot of, if you like, what appears to be mispricing. And could cause a lot of people to think, well, the market is inefficient, but actually the market is efficient. That's why there's price discrepancies. Right? Price between what? Well, you believe this is price. An asset or stock is worth 10 baht per share. Right? But the observed price is 11 baht. Right? You top-notch analyst, you think, well, the price has been too expensive. Who are you to say that the price is too expensive? The market price. Sorry, I can't remember which way around is it. Your price, let's say your model price, the price that you think is 10 baht. The market price is 11 baht, as observed. Who's wrong? Who's right? What if a week later the gap closes? Okay, price falls to 10 baht. Are you correct? The market is wrong? Or was that a fluke? Okay. Stuff like this will become clearer, right? In the context of what we're gonna go through. Okay. So we'll be seeing each other for roughly 10 weeks. Okay. During this course there will be 2 assignments. Okay. 1 midterm exam and 1 final exam. Okay. The 2 assignments are group assignments. Okay. 10% each. And you want to get full mark for the 2 group assignments. Full marks. If not, will be close to full marks, because you're not going to get full marks from the exam. I'm already giving you full information. Okay, so that you set your expectation correctly. Okay. In terms of the grading, these are the grades that I do give out every year. Okay? So please do not take it for granted that the pass grade is a B grade. Of course, master students need an average of B, right? The G PAT, G, whatever G. Okay, it could be G force, up and down. Okay, G. The average grade at the end of the day, you need a B, average of B. Okay, to get your degree. So on average, you should get, applying the rule of average, you need to get a B, right? Grade B, so that to pass the course. If a C, C plus, yeah, not quite, you have to make up, right, for the deficit in the subsequent courses, right? But on average, B is a pass. Yeah, but to get a B from me, I'm busy today, so we will cancel the course today. Right? We'll meet again next week. Joking. This is why I love my job. I just love it. But students can't do this to me, right? Because I'm the boss here. I give you grades. You don't give me grades. You only give me evaluation at the end. So, yes, it's a time for you to take revenge. That's fine. I understand. I fully expect and prepare. I'm prepared for it. Anyway, a B is a B for me. Is that fair? When you see a B grade on anyone's transcript, what sort of grade do you expect? What sort of percent do you expect to be associated with B? What sort of percent? Actual mark would you associate with a B grade? 50%? 60? 60 plus? So it's not 50. Okay? So don't take it for granted. Master's degree in Thailand typically is a B, right, to pass. So, but bachelor degree is 50, right? So if for bachelor degree to get a pass, why 50% is, why 50%? Get, 50% for bachelor degree, students get a D grade, no problem. But when it comes to master's degree, students get 50%, achieve 50%, but they expect a B. Why is that? So for me, I'm saying all this just to tell you that a B is a B. Okay? So what is it like to achieve a B? What do we have to do? Trust me, I know what it's like to be a master's student, because I was once a master's student. Okay, so if students are sort of about the same as me when I was a master's student, that would be a B. Right? The world has to improve. Right? The world has to evolve. Okay? Being as good as me back then and expect an A, that's impossible. Right? You look at mobile phones now. You can do internet. You can do all sorts of stuff on mobile phone, right? Even turn on an aircon, do this, do that, all sorts of app. Pay this, pay that, all done on mobile phone. Wind the clock back 20 years ago. What sort of stuff you get on a mobile phone? So the minimum requirement for a mobile phone right now is camera, sending text message, SMS, camera, just a camera. What type of camera? Just camera, taking photos and no video. Would you buy that? 2,000 baht, would you buy? Think about it, right? So you have to think about it. So, you know what I mean, right? Well, it has to evolve. But it's not that difficult to get 70% from me, to be as good as I was when I was a master's student, because I wasn't that good. Okay. All right. Reading list, no textbook. But if you want to look up textbooks, that'd be nice. Yeah, you can get them from the library. Teaching this blah blah. Don't really know what all that means. Now, group assignments. I know what this means because I wrote this by myself. Okay, each is worth 10%. I'm not sure how many of us are here in this room, excluding me, of course. The number of group members is 5. Has to be 5, unless you don't get it divided by 5, number of students divided by 5, and we don't get the exact number. Okay. Then 6 would be a bit too many. Okay. 4 would still be alright, because the group assignments are not that difficult. A bit unstructured, because this is master's degree. Okay. I don't give assignments 1 + 1 becomes what? 2, well done. No, I don't do that. So assignment or homework. Okay. Hand in class by 1 p.m. Okay, on the session specified in the table above. So please email me also electronic copy of the report. Okay, Word file, please. Okay, because I don't want to convert PDF into something like Word and count the number of words. Okay. For both assignment, I put the word limit to 600. Okay, meat only, please. No waffling. Get to the business. Okay, get to the business. Give me the answers. Okay. Font size has to be 12. Cambria size 12. Okay, if you write more than 600 words, you may get penalized. Okay. Now, late submission. Late submission means 0 mark. So the deadline is 1 o'clock. If you hand in 1:10, probably be just fine. be fine. 1:10, 1:05. But if it's, say we into the first half of the session, and after the break, one of the group members just walked in, right, and handed in the assignment, then there'll probably be 0. Right, 5-10 minutes, that's fine, not a problem. Okay, but just don't abuse things. That's it. Assignments, you can just staple the assignments. 600 words, just staple. Okay, but the assignment must have cover page that contains name, surname, ID. Okay, if the report, if you wish to include graphs, figures, or references, which would be good, very nice, or appendices, any indices, appendices, or whatever, right? Attach all these to appendices. they will not form part of 600 words. Okay, but 600 words is the main text. But if it appears that the main text is more than 600 words, right? And you put a big chunk of what's, your main text into the appendix, then that won't get marked. Okay, but if it's graphs or calculation, the detailed calculation, examples, okay, or references, that's fine. Okay, but 600 is a quick summary, right? 600 words, quick summary, and then the real discussion in the appendix, that's not right. Okay. Very importantly, the report, each report, or both reports, must have a section that gives details on one, the nature of contribution by group member, each group member. There are 5 of you. Okay, each of you does what? Okay, one could be setting up a venue, the main contribution, setting up the venue for meeting, picking coffee shops or restaurants for meeting, and nothing else. Okay, write that down. All right. And the extent of the contribution, how much? The nature, what? Right? What type of contribution? Right? Each group member does what? And 2, how much? More than other group members, or and so on. Why do I require this? I require this. If you don't have this, there'll be mark reduction. Okay, why do I require this? Just to prevent free rider, to discourage, not to prevent. I cannot prevent free rider problem. Okay, basically to minimize free riding. There could be 5 of you, but if one is lazy, right, want to take advantage of the remaining 4, and the remaining 4 don't want to have trouble, that's fine. That's very nice of the remaining 4. Okay, but at least they're got to be right. So this one, the trouble one, if the trouble one has got enough guts to look at their group members, the remaining group members, their friends, in the eyes, and look, I want to take good marks as well. That's fine. Exam, midterm exam, expected 1.5 hours, unseen exam, final is 2 hours. Okay. So what will be covered in the exam? What we cover in the course? Code of academic integrity. Just be cool, keep cool, that's all. Okay? Don't get into some sort of fishy business. And all this blah 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 can be ignored. Punishment, you get punished. If you violate the code of academic integrity, here somehow. Okay, and very important, this table. Fine print. All right. A lot of information there. Desired characteristics of the university. You have any questions about this table? You've got course syllabus already, right? You have any questions about this table? Good. Because if you ask, I can't answer. I have to put it there. Right? Fine print. And I actually went through a lot of trouble trying to get this table into fine prints. They're very compact. Yeah. Actually, when it came from university, it's just like 1 item per line. So the course syllabus would take about 10 pages long. So condense all this to save space and save trees. Okay. So that's course syllabus and the admin matters. First assignment. Okay. Blah blah blah. Things will become clearer by the end of today's session. Okay. There are 3 questions to address based on this information, which is likely to reflect real life. In real life, when we have problems, we encounter problems, okay, as people who work in a firm, people with a master's degree, not fresh undergrads, okay. When we have to solve problems, right, get at or address problems, typically the problems that would come to us, okay, at the policy level would be unstructured problems, okay. Otherwise you want to be paid good salary. If you want to be paid good salary, you have to solve unstructured problems or identify problems beforehand and take measures to prevent problems, okay. Skills to do this would bring you money, but if you can only take clear instructions, okay, you won't earn a lot of money, right? Because any monkey can do that, okay. Right. This is important in formulating or developing answers to these questions, okay. That is, for all questions you must give clear explanation and economic rationale behind your answers. I must see clearly the mechanism within 600 words, the mechanism for your solution, okay. You say, okay, it has to be this, we need to turn right, then why, okay. A high-speed train, on average, commercial high-speed train is faster than high-speed coach or bus. If that's your answer, you need to tell me why, nice and clear, so that I can see the picture. So when you write your reports, okay, you write reports for other people to read, for other people to like, not for yourself to like, okay. So when you write reports for your boss, who would you like to like your report? Yourself or your boss? Your boss, right? Because it's your boss who will promote you. Alright, so your boss will have to like your reports. This is real life, okay. So a report that you like, you think this is fine now, yeah, but that's you, not necessarily me, okay. And in this case it has to be me, because I give you grades. Let's face the reality, okay. I face the same reality. When I do research, okay, I have to write for publications. Who do I care? Who do I care? When I write papers, when I write for publication. Who? Everyone? Sorry? Okay, no. No. I care about two people. One, the editor. Two, the referee. Because I accept or reject my paper. So I need to understand what they think, their mindset, so that I can basically shape my, compile my research in the way that they like. Okay. So in general, what do editors and referees, especially editors, what do they like? They like, what kind of papers do they like? They like papers that if people in the area read, right, and they will cite. They'll cite the paper. They'll read the paper. Okay. So different journals, right? Editors are sort of editor preferences across journals are different. Okay. So I had before I come up with work, send the paper out, I need to think. Okay, which journal the paper is suitable for which the paper is suitable. Okay, that's the reality. Okay, so I feel fine for this requirement because this is what I have to do every day, and this is what people have to do every day at work. I believe, at least the people that I know. Okay. All right. let's get to the lecture materials. Agency problems. So obviously there are problems, okay? But in an ideal world, we wouldn't have problems. When people said in an ideal world, what do you think they mean when people say that? Ideal world means a world of perfect capital markets, okay? Perfect information. Everybody, if information is perfect, the same transaction, let's say this for the same goods, second-hand goods, this microphone, right? You know the true condition, I know the true condition of this. I know the true potential, income generating potential for this microphone. Let's suppose I'm the seller and you're the buyer, okay? I know your expectation, what you expect. I know how you expect to utilize, right, this microphone. I know. And you know the true condition of this microphone. Okay. In this case, then the price is a fair price. Right? I cannot charge you too much. And of course, you cannot bargain the price down so that you could pay only too little price. Okay. You can't do that. Because I know your expected use. You expected benefit. The benefit you expect to extract from this second-hand microphone. Okay? So, technically speaking, we can say that in this world where all of us, economic agents, behave according to the same rational approach to decision making. Okay, we would observe that all of us have the same expectation about the future. Okay, so we price this microphone the same. We attach the same price to the same asset. Okay, if I know that you can extract, let's say, by buying this microphone, you can extract 100 baht worth of benefit from this microphone. How much you think I would want to charge you? Less than 100? More than 100. Would you want to pay more than 100? No, because the maximum benefit that you can extract is only 100. So, because you behave in the same rational approach as I do, okay, we will think about cost and benefit. Okay, we will maximize expected profit. So, the equilibrium price of this phone will be 100. I want to charge you more than 100. Right? But you're not going to pay anything above 100. So I have to come down in price. Okay? So, in a very simple model, here, well, you're not going to pay more than 100. I'm not going to charge less than 100. So the price will end up being 100. Okay, so at this point, you'll be indifferent. So you're not going to buy. But of course, even 100, I still make a little profit. Some profit, sorry, not little profit. Some profit out of it, right? And to achieve trade, I'll come down a bit in price. Okay, to allow you to have a bit of profit. So I can get a bit of profit as well. Okay. Do people out there think like this? Do they think like this? To me, yes. To me, yes. Very interestingly, a few years ago, I just happened to talk to the owner of one of the largest rice mills in Ayutthaya province. I just met the guy, talked to him about, you know, he was buying some property, right, in some township, so that his children can have business, right, to open up for, to set up business operations for his children. He was telling me about how he actually managed to buy all the lots, right, nearby each other. And the initial ask price was this high, and then he was thinking, okay, what sort of price should he pay? He was on the buy side. And to cut the long story short, he was thinking about cost benefit. So to me, in the way that I just share with you, in the same way as the microphone example. So to me, that was a clear testimony that people, on average, think rationally, especially the rich people. Okay, the way he was thinking. The way he bargained the price down. Okay, he bargained the price down a little bit. He didn't go to the rock bottom. Okay, and the way he was doing that, right, talking to the property owner, was really consistent with the standard auction theory. Pretty much the same. Okay. Anyway, so we have a simple analysis of the potential price of this second-hand microphone. Okay. Because why was that simple? Because everybody has an identical expectation. All economic agents. We have perfect information. What if we live in reality? In reality, things will be different. Okay. But I need to talk about these slides first. Yeah. That's, anyway, the implication of perfect information is that everybody would be able to observe each other's move, okay, or action. I know what, in others, I know what action you would take, okay, what price you would want, in other words, either on buy side or sell side, okay. If you're on the buy side, what price you would want? You would not pay any more than 100, I know that, okay. So all of us would be in the position to make decisions in our own best interest, right? And therefore be able to perfectly protect ourselves, okay? And in such a world, you can't cheat me, I cannot cheat you. Just imagine yourself, if you go to MBK. MBK is the world of bargains, right? Right? Let's haggle the price down. If the ask price is 1,000 baht, straight away you would knock 500 off, right? When you see a bag or whatever item. Right? So I don't have anything else. Let's stick to this second-hand microphone. The ask price is 100. You need a microphone, okay, for whatever event, okay. And I have a shop. I'm the seller. Right? You drop by my shop and you saw this microphone. It looks alright. Okay, it works. Lights, not bad. Ask price 100. You know that you're cool. You know yourself that you're a very cool person. Let's knock the price down. You say straight away. How about 60? You ask me. 60. Right? And I said, okay, deal. Done. How would you feel? How would you feel? 60? In your mind you were thinking, I would probably go 80 and you would knock it back to 70. That's your plan. But when you ask, how about 60? I said, fine. How would you feel? Oh. Right? Oh, being cheated? You paid too much? That's what it means by cheating. Okay? So, why do I give this example? Because it happens to me all the time. I hate it. Alright. Because, why is that? Because I live in the real world. The world of asymmetric information or imperfect information. Asymmetric, that is, information is not symmetric on both sides to the transaction. One transaction, there are two sides, buyer and seller. So basically a transaction is a contract. Okay? So to the contract, both sides of the contract, information is not the same. One side has more information than the other side. It could be a buyer, it could be a seller. Okay. Can the buyer ever have more information than the seller? Yes. Yeah. Okay. You know the real estate projects, housing estates. Okay. Over the other side of the river, right, they see a lot of nice, expensive houses. So they buy. When the developers go and buy land from local people, at what price did they buy? Do you think the local people who sold their land, right, to the buyer, whoever that approached them, know that the land would be used for the real estate development, which would become a big house was 100 million baht. A lot of them didn't. If all of them knew, right, each of them knew, they would definitely get together, coordinate, and bargain the price up. Okay, so these developers, when they buy land, they buy a little bit here and there, right? So that the local people would get as little information as possible about the expected utilization of the buyer, so that the price is not bargained up. Now for stock trading, do we have this kind of thing going on, imperfect information? You hold stocks, you hold shares, you're traders. When you sell, you want to sell high, but each time we send a sell order, do you feel that the price might have gone a bit higher? You should have held on to the stock a bit longer? Do you feel that way? Why do you feel that way? Because you know that you have a piece of information about the stock, about the price, right? But other people have different information. And you know that there will be some people who have more information than you do. Okay? The technical term in this situation is that you don't want to sell orders because you don't want your orders, right, sell orders, ask orders, to be adversely picked off, right? More informed people come in, aha, they're saying the price is cheap. Okay, they know, they have more information about future price. So you're sending standing orders, you put up standing orders to sell. Okay, so I could be coming in and pick up your orders. Oh, that's cheap. You thought it was a good price, but when you, right, as soon as you send your sell orders in, right, your orders get picked off like that. So straight away, you'll be feeling maybe you should have waited. Right? Okay. This is, all these problems comes about because of imperfect information or symmetric information, or some people call this information asymmetry. Okay. So in other words, market participants or economic agents, they mean the same thing, are not fully informed of others' behavior or expectation. Okay, we don't know their move or their expectation, their expected use of the asset. Okay, what could be the implication of asymmetry then? Let's come back to the microphone example. You knock you said, how about 60? I said, okay. How would you feel? Okay, not good, right? Maybe you sort of got ripped off. Now, with this information in mind, let's think about this in a two-period model with this experience in the first period. And in the second period, you need to buy another second-hand microphone. What would be your strategy, your approach to buying a second-hand microphone? Go lower? Why is that? Why is that? In other words, I asked you this question. With asymmetry, okay, information asymmetry, imperfect information, how would you form your expectation about the payoff that would accrue to you from buying the second-hand microphone, or a second-hand microphone? Your payoff would be lower. Lower from what? What makes it lower? It works. But why lower? Well, because you said 60, the ask price is 100. You said 60, I said, okay. Maybe the true value, right? The real value, which reflects the real condition or quality of the phone, is lower than 60. Okay? So in this case, the true condition is not that good. Okay? It could be some sort of touch-up work or rip-off kind of item. Okay? So the reduction in the payoff would come from the repair that you have to do before you can put it to work. You can utilize the microphone as you had expected. Okay? So in this case, the reduction would come from the repair. Okay? So in finance, let's try to quantify things. Okay? So in this case, to quantify the reduction in the payoff, where would the reduction in the payoff come from in this case? Repair. Okay? Now, if asymmetry is serious, the problem is really serious. You think you're really at the informational disadvantage to say to me, to the seller, maybe you stay away from trading, maybe no trade. Or, with past experience that tells you that the information asymmetry is really serious, you would ask for a huge discount, okay, on this. You wouldn't say 60 to start off with, but 60 is big already. You may ask, how about 30, right? Even much lower. Okay. And now, based on our discussion so far, we see why the informationally disadvantaged side of the contract, or the uninformed party to the contract, expect a net loss. Okay? When we think of information problem, I think it's easier to think in terms of a contract. We have a contract, a transaction. Right? Before we agree on the two sides, right? Agree to a transaction, that is sign a contract. There'll be problems, information problems. Okay, so it's easy to think in terms of, we have a contract. Right, so this information problem can be divided into two broad types. One, adverse selection, and two, moral hazard. So far, the type of by structure, our example relates to adverse selection. If you think of adverse selection and moral hazard in this way. MH. Time zero is the signing of the contract, agreement, shaking hand. Right? You said 60, that's it. Shake hand. Okay, that's the signing of the contract. So adverse selection is an information problem before that occurs in its most basic form. Okay? Occurs before the signing of the contract. Moral hazard is after the contract has been signed. Okay? Just to look ahead a little bit. An employment contract. Most of you are employed, I hope. All of you employed? Still? Right, okay. Okay, so that's a big relief for the program, so you can pay tuition fees. As long as you pay the fees, you get your degree, guaranteed. You like this?
Yeah.
No. Okay. So in an employment contract, Do you think employer and employee have problems? What kind of problems? Employees slack off, don't turn up to work, are lazy, make mistakes, so on and so forth, not careful. But in the contract say, in general, work hard, be good, and you get paid, you get bonus. But a lot of employees don't behave according to the contract, so they deviate from the contract. Okay. Moral hazard, it is moral hazard that allows employees, in our example here, to deviate from the contract, to cheat the employer. And very often employers also cheat employees. And this is possible despite the employment contract, because this is because of the moral hazard. Okay? Adverse selection before the signing of the contract. You're not an employee yet. No, your employment contract has not been signed yet. Okay, so there's adverse selection. Okay, let's see what it looks like here before the signing of the contract. Adverse selection, technically speaking, is well, not technically. Realistically speaking, is a situation of hidden information. You do not observe true information. You do not observe the true quality of the microphone. When we buy second-hand car, do we know the true condition of the car? That's why if possible, we buy brand new, right? We try to avoid second-hand car. Trust me, you want to avoid second-hand car. From my personal experience, right? It gives you a lot of headache. Okay, and it takes a while to fix all those headaches. So technically speaking, this situation occurs when both parties to the transaction or to the contract, both parties know that, let's say, in our example, I, the seller of the microphone, has information that is valuable to you, the buyer. Okay, but it could be buyer or seller. Okay, in the case of land, right? Land and real estate developer buying the land. Okay, so we can generalize it and say one of the party has information valuable to the other party to the contract. Okay, and the other party is less informed. That is, cannot observe the information. Party A, say seller, and party B, buyer. Party A has information that party B cannot observe. Okay? Of course, party B knows this. Party B knows that party A has information that party B does not know. And this information is useful to party A. Right? Party A can make use of this information in selecting his action. That is, this information is useful to party A. Okay? In our microphone example, I'm the seller. I have the information that is valuable to you. That is, if I tell you the true condition, okay, you would bargain the price down lower than 60, right? So when you say 60, I said deal. Okay, first pop. Okay. So we can say that in our example here, you, the buyer, right, or party B, is typically uninformed of my true color, true type. Good seller or bad seller, or good quality asset or poor quality asset. Okay, but you know that it's going to be either good quality or bad quality. You know this, right? And you know that I know this, and you know that I know and you don't know. You confused? Good, because I am too, and I think about it carefully. So the only thing that you know, the only thing that party B doesn't know is that party B doesn't know basically whether this is actually good or bad. Right. Basically, you know that when you walk in the dark, you know you get either lucky or not so lucky when you walk in the dark. You're going to trip over something or you're not. Right. You know that. You know that you can't see in the dark. That's it. Okay, let's move to a different context. Context where you probably are familiar with. Insurance context. Right? So the insured party, say the driver, would know his or her risk type, true type. Safe driver or dangerous driver. Okay? The insurance company does not. So who buys insurance policy? Driver, right? So in this case, the buyer is informed. The seller is uninformed. Okay? So you see this problem? There's a problem here. Okay? If there are two types, safe driver, good driver, dangerous driver, bad driver. Okay, there are two types. And the insurer knows that there exist both types. There are two types of driver. It's just that the insurer does not know that, for example, when you come to, I'm the insurer, when you come to me and say, hey, I want to buy insurance policy. I'm not sure which one he is. I know he could be bad or he could be good. If he's bad, he is that bad. If he's good, he is that good. That's what I know. But I don't know which one he is. Okay? This is basically adverse selection. Before signing the contract, I haven't sold the policy to you. I haven't charged you the premium. I haven't decided on the amount of premium to charge him. Okay? But in this situation, the good driver, safe driver, would be worse off. Okay? Then they would be under the full information. And the opposite is true for the bad driver. In other words, the premium charged would be too expensive for the good driver, but too cheap. A nice, lovely bargain for the bad driver. Okay, why is that? Well, basically, let's say random probability, right? 50-50. I know, let's say one half, this is bad driver, that side is good driver. Okay, and it's 50-50. What would be the rational premium that I charge? Average, right? Be average, right? If the bad driver I would charge 20 baht, and good driver I charge 15 baht. I don't know which one is which. So on average, random probability, I just go 17.5. Okay. So for the safe driver should be paying only 15, right? But safe driver will have to pay 17.5. For the bad driver, they should be paying 20, but they are paying 17.5. So that's a bargain. Okay. So the premium here, average premium in this case, is suboptimal, as we can see. Okay. And if this condition or this situation persists, at the limit, the market will collapse. There will be no market for insurance. Nobody will insure, will buy insurance policy. Right? Okay, in this situation, who would buy the policy? The bad driver. Would, not will. Would. Right? But if we are rational, we think that this situation, we expect this kind of situation. Okay. So the safe driver would pay 17.5. No, it's not worth it. Right? So the good driver leave the market. The only type that remains in the market is the bad type, the dangerous type. And within the dangerous type here, this side of the room, 50-50 random probability, not so bad and very bad. Yeah? So how would I know that the good type would leave the market, right? At the average premium 17.5, only the bad type will remain. But given that the bad type will remain, the premium I charge, if I charge 17.5, I'll be making a loss. But, okay, I don't have the information which one is which, so it could be 50-50 again. So it's going to be very bad and not so bad. So I charge what? What's the midpoint between 17.5 and 20? To be 18.25? Something, let's say midpoint there. Anyway. The same pattern continues. The very bad will stay like, okay, good, still cheap. But the not so bad will leave the market. So at the limit, nobody will stay in the market. Alright? So basically the presence of the bad type drives the good type out of the market. At the limit, okay, the market will collapse. This condition will lead to the collapse of the insurance market. Okay. So if I give you in exam this situation and give you the prediction is that at the limit the market will collapse. Can you explain the mechanism? Yeah, we saw the mechanism. Right? This is an example. If you want to make a prediction, you must be able to give the mechanism of your prediction. Okay, that is, if you go to see your client and your client asks, why is that? Why should I buy your funds? Buy units in your fund? Why should I? Why are you better than others? Say fixed income funds, higher risk, higher default risk, and rate, expected rate of returns a bit higher. At one of the banks there. I've been there, right? Saw the branch manager, and I looked at the rates. I didn't tell them, about my job. So I make out that I had absolutely no idea about investment, and asked them why. They said, okay, this is low risk and get this much. Okay, and then I asked, okay, what's the savings? What's the interest rate for savings account or term investment at the bank? Okay, not investing in fixed income funds or bonds. Okay, they said, I don't remember. I said one rate could be 2%, let's say. Okay, and they invest here and there. Okay, and the expected rate of return, not risk adjusted, raw, it's this much. And they take off the management fee. So looking at it, it's not a big difference. Right? But the measure of risk they advertised in their brochure, I can't remember. Of course, it didn't pay much attention. Was quite high. Okay, to me, it was not worse. It was a bad risk-return combination. Okay, so I asked, well, why so little then? Right, when he invests in the fixed income funds with some default risk. Okay, and the branch manager couldn't tell me why. I knew why, but they couldn't speculate much. Okay, the default risk is there, but the environment is low interest rate. So to me, it's not worth it. And the default risk, I think the default risk is, a lot of people misprice default risk. I think the real default risk is higher than how people estimate, what people estimate. My personal opinion. Okay. Anyway, the branch manager, not that I'm a big client, but it was that other tellers were busy. So the manager had to come out, right, to give customers assistance. But the branch manager couldn't explain very well. So I thought, So if you want to cut the deal with a client, especially if you want, take it from me, all right? If you want to squeeze a lot of money out of rich clients' bank account, you got to be good, right? And the way that rich clients ask questions, right? They ask you sophisticated client, okay? Because only to me, only sophisticated clients have a lot of money. They ask left question from the left, your left of course, and question from your right, and they ask from the front, right? And if your answers don't square up, they would corner you, and then you lose the deal. Okay, that's life. Okay, when you get high up to go and negotiate, trying to cut a deal with client. Okay, so this is why I give a lot of importance on the mechanism, systematic answer. There must be explanation and economic rationale. Okay? Because it is important. Okay. I want to give you a series of evidence or testimonies, right? Why it is important. But a lot of, I would say a lot of firms in the industrial sector or corporate sector, non-financial firms, high top-notch PhDs in the back office, if they're big. Okay, so when you go and cut a deal, okay, you may have heard this firm, yeah, wants to raise a lot of debt, want to sell bonds. You want to be an underwriter, of course, the lead underwriter, because you make money, right? You wouldn't want to be just a book runner. You don't get that much money, okay? So when you go and offer a deal, right, underwriting deal with the client, you may be talking to a PhD with who wrote the dissertation on theoretical asset pricing. So if your answers to that question are not systematic, or you don't know what you're talking about, okay, or you have scripts, and memorize the scripts to go and talk to them. So it's going to be a bye-bye, okay, before you start, okay. Now, this situation is not good. The collapse of the market is not good. The collapse of the insurance market is bad. Bad for whom? For the good safe driver, the good driver, or the bad driver? For all. Because even the bad driver cannot pay suitable premium and get insurance cover. Okay? They'll be without an insurance cover. But here in saying this, I implicitly make one assumption. So without insurance market, everybody is worse off. You should ask straight away, why should everybody be, why should people be worse off in general? In our context here, which is insurance context. Does it mean that people are better off with an insurance cover? So I implicitly make this assumption that people are better off with an insurance cover. Alright? So, let's say if you were me trying to explain this to your client may ask you, why do we need insurance cover? How are we going to be better off? We are safe anyway. How would you answer? You got to be careful, okay? Because you got to prepare yourself first, okay? Anyway, with this assumption, right? The cover would enhance the welfare of the economy, okay? So, without insurance market, everybody is worse off. So, rationally speaking, this will not happen. If everybody is worse off, they would not allow it to happen. Right? If everybody rationally expect that this is the outcome of adverse election, they look for a solution. Okay? The first solution is signaling. Okay? So signaling is for the informed party to do. Okay? Let's move to a different context here. Okay, but in our context, the informed party, that is the insurance buyer or the insured party, will take action that signals the true type to the insurer, what kind of action would that be? Try to be a safe driver, right? And have a good record. So if no claim, you pay less the next round. You've heard of that? Or
Yeah.
that hasn't happened to you? That's why you don't know. Okay. Let's move to a labor market context here. You're going to talk about signaling. Okay. So in the insurance context, you signal by having no claims, right? And show a clean record to the insurer for the next round and get a discount. Okay, in a competitive insurance market, if the existing insurer does not give you a better deal because you're a safe driver, does not adjust down the premium, then you can move, right? And say that, look, there's this thing here, right? The renewal form. My existing insurer is happy to renew my insurance policy for the next round, but I'm not happy with them. So I'm moving to you. Why am I not happy with them? Because they're going to charge me the same premium, but I'm safe driver. So you interested? Of course, the other one would be interested, right? Because I'm a safe driver. Okay. Does this happen? I think so. I think it happens a lot. Okay. Now let's move to the labor market. In a competitive labor market, if we have the perfect information condition, if a worker's quality can be perfectly observed. If I said if information is perfect, it means just that, right? Okay. In this case then, each worker will be paid for his or her marginal productivity, and the job market will reach an efficient equilibrium in the perfect market, in the perfect information setting. Okay? So, being paid for marginal productivity means this. I'm this good, I get paid for this level. You are this much better than I am, you get paid this much more. You are this much worse than I am, you get paid this much, right? This much less than I do. Okay? That's what it means by paid for marginal productivity. But if we have imperfect information, then it would be impossible for the employer to separate between the good and bad job applicants or workers. Okay? In this case then, same as insurance premium, okay, the equilibrium wage will be set based on the average ability or quality or productivity. Okay. Average wage means same wage across workers. Good or bad, same wage. Does this happen in the real world? Does it happen? It happens. I get paid the same as my colleagues from other schools. The rate that I get, right? Rate, not amount. The rate that I get paid is the same as my, well, I can say this, but don't, you recording me.
Yep.
As my sister-in-law at different faculty. I think I put more efforts in the job for the university, but we get paid the same. We under the same regime. Is that fair? Is that fair? I don't think that's fair. Yeah. Oh, my colleagues, right? I get paid the same. I think I work much harder. I'm more productive than my sister-in-law. I don't want to say that to my but we under the same wage regime. We get this pretty much the same pay increase per year. Right? Both of us, or all of us, receive no bonus from the university. We never receive a bonus. But I have received a bonus once in my career. Okay, and that was many years ago, almost 10 or more than 10 years ago. And the bonus that I got was quite a lot actually. Big surprise. It's about 3,000 something baht. Not dollars, 3,000 from the school. The school made some profit from running some stuff, I don't know. But bonus, trying to be like the private sector and motivate. Bonus, right? In the private sector, they say how many months, right? Okay, but that's my life. So I take it out on students. Right? I can't complain to the university. Else, they could say, "Oh, you want to work elsewhere?" Okay, so I take it out on students. The university allows me to do that. I'm a very strict examiner. I ensure quality. Keep cool in class. Don't upset me, please. Always smile at me when you see me. At least for over the next 10 weeks or so. Alright, don't upset me. That's your life. That's your life. Okay. Once again, this condition is an equilibrium, but a bad equilibrium. It's called pulling equilibrium. Good types cannot be distinguished from bad types. The uninformed party cannot tell whether this is a good driver, good worker, or bad driver, or bad worker, or bad applicant. Okay, pulling equilibrium and equilibrium where good and bad types fall into the same pool. Okay, so exactly the same structure, same thing. There's no need to memorize. Okay, we can actually do without this slide. In this condition, okay, same condition as the suboptimal insurance premium. Okay, but in this case, the suboptimal wage, the wage, market rate, set based on average quality. Okay, but not true quality, average quality. At the limit will lead to the collapse of the job market. Okay? Once again, the existence of bad workers will drive good workers out of the job market. And what we see is that many good workers, many good job applicants, good graduates, if they're lucky enough, they will work in a firm, in a job market, say in the job market, okay, only for a couple of years. And then they get out, right, and work in their own business, their family business, where they earn more. Okay, if some of them who are lucky, or start their own business, not necessarily so-called startup. Okay, and they make much more money. Okay, so this is not good for the good quality type, of course, nice and obvious, but at a closer look, it's not good for everybody. Not good for even the employer. Because the employer would be willing to take on bad workers as well, as long as the price is right. There'll be transaction. Okay, no problem, bad workers, but we pay, pay the wage. Okay, that is appropriate to the marginal productivity. That's fine. Rational employers will be happy with that. Though what they're not happy with is paying the wage that is too high, given the quality. Okay. So to avoid the pulling equilibrium, suppose you are good workers, good job applicants, good quality graduates. How would you signal in the job market? How would you signal your quality? Sorry? How do you signal your quality? What are you doing here? Did your parents make you to come to this program? Did Khosachar make you to come to this program? Article 44, Uncle Tu. Uncle Tu. Don't argue with me. Don't argue with me about the fish price. Okay, about fishing or whatever. But I like him. I like Prime Minister. I love him. What? How is it? Yeah, whatever. He does that. Yeah, okay. I like him. Seriously, I think he's cool. You recording? I like my Prime Minister very, very much. I support him. Okay. Alright, how would you signal in the job market? You are not made, there's no government. The point is there's no government intervention. Right? Which would force people to come to master's program. Right? It's voluntary, isn't it? There's no even invitation sent to your house, right? Just some advert. Hey, come, try. Right? And you come on by yourself. Okay. Why would you want to go through a training program? Sorry?
Make difference.
Okay. In what way?
Better way.
What do you mean better way?
That's
What
it.
better?
More skill.
More skill and so what? Who cares?
The boss will choose the better one.
Okay, how would the boss know to choose you?
Have record.
What record? What record? Transcript? So what kind of record or transcript you get from me? Okay, so basically, now let me ask you another question. If there was a tougher program than this program, a real of a program, master's program, would you try to go to that program? Let's say if LBS, London Business School, or Chicago, or Harvard, or Yale, came to Thailand and said, look, this is Bangkok campus of Yale University, right? Master's degree. Look at the teaching faculty. Ideally, if you could, right? If you think you would go through, survive that program, the price is very expensive, of course. If you talk about Yale or Harvard, or they charge you not an arm and a leg, charge the whole body. Charge you your life, right? But if you could afford, right, and you think you would come out, you would survive alive, come out alive, would you go to that program?
Sure.
Why is that? Because of certificate, right? Okay. So basically, one way to do this is to go through or undergo training or education or a training program. Why is that? Because education or a training program is costly in terms of time. Right? You study on weekends, right? So you don't need weekends. I know you could. Look. Seriously, I'm serious about this. I wouldn't be able to do what you're doing. You work 5 days a week, right? Monday through Friday. A lot of you do slave because you're still young. You have to slave, right? At some firms, right? Work like slave, and yet on weekends come to the program to be study. Come to master's program, okay, to get bean now. Well, some of the courses beat you up. Not this course. Okay. So it's costly in terms of time and money. Is this program cheap? For some of you, it's not expensive. I know that. Expensive? Okay. So costly in terms of time, money, and emotional damage. Trust me, you're gonna get emotional damage. So what type of people would survive this program? What type?
Fighter.
Sorry?
Fighter.
Fighter?
Yeah.
There's a strong fighter and weak fighter. Okay, but if you fight, you survive. After all, I'm still human. Right? I'm not inhumane. So good quality type will survive. All right. So it costs. The bad type would not survive. Okay. So this very costly. Okay. But look, there's benefit. The bad type may survive as well, but if they get to improve their skills during the program, yeah. So in this case, then going through a training program does not signal the true quality of the workers. Could be the quality of the program itself. Right? So it's not about the worker, not about the person. It could be about the program. So at least in our thinking, right, we're planning to signal, for example, send a signal. Okay. To start off with, let's start from somewhere simple so that we can make some progress in our analysis or in our policy or in our decision making. Let's assume that the program does not add skills, does not improve quality of workers. So the program is going to be nothing apart from being tough, just killing. So if students go through the program, survive, is 100% to do with students' own quality. Okay? Right, so let's make this assumption. So in this case, training program or education or going through a training program serves as a costly signal, guarantee. Okay? Signal quality. Whose quality? The person's quality, the student's quality, or worker's quality. Okay. Why does a signal have to be costly? Can it be a cheap signal rather than costly signal? If education was easy, would it be a credible signal? Why not?
Cannot distinguish.
Any monkey would get the transcript, right? Yeah? But monkey is probably thinking, you know, if a coconut tree is not tall, any human would be able to climb. I'm sure monkeys think like that. I'm sure my cat thinks like that. Any human can climb, can get on the roof and sleep on the roof. Cat would think like that. Cats look down on people. Same as monkey. Okay? So, for a signal, whatever action that we take to tell other people who don't know about us that we are of good quality, in whatever context, must be costly to be credible. Right? If the bad type can do the same, then that action is worthless. Okay? So in our example here of training program, only the high quality type can afford to send a costly signal. It's worth it. It's worth it for the high quality type. To put it differently, for the low quality type or bad workers, the benefit, expected benefit, okay, from sending a false signal or from lying or from mimicking, right, trying to do the same thing, try to imitate. Expected benefit is lower than the expected cost of lying. I'm not good, but I want to lie that I'm good, so I go through this same training program. as a good quality type. What would be my expected benefit? 0. What would be my expected cost or full cost? Why would my expected benefit is 0? The actual benefit is, let's say, a huge pay, nice salary, but what's the probability of that happening? 0, or very, very low. Why is that? Because I wouldn't come out of the program. I wouldn't survive the training program, right? So the probability, so expected, same as expected value. Expected value is a product of the actual benefit here. The wage could be 100,000 baht per month, okay? But what's the probability of that? 5%? Because I wouldn't expect to come through the program at all. So let's say probability of 5%, if that was a true probability. What would be my expected benefit? 5,000. What's the cost? As soon as I pay the tuition fees, get into the program, I get the full cost, 100%. Okay, so in this case, the expected benefit is not worth the expected cost. Because the probability of the cost is 100%. As soon as we decide to pay the fees, we incur the cost, come to the program, right, stay, instead of having a rest or doing something better at home on the weekend, okay, come to the program, okay, studying here, what's the point? You're not going to finish, you're not going to get out, I'm not going to get out anyway. So the probability of surviving the program and get a good transcript is 0. Right. So what's the expected benefit? The benefit is 100,000 baht of salary per month. Say 5%, I may get lucky, like winning lotto. I take selfie with the vendor, with the lotto ticket. 5%. So 5% of 100,000 baht is how much? 5,000 baht. So it's not worth it. Okay. Right. So, given that the signal works, that is, the signal is a costly signal, it's expensive, too expensive for the bad type to send. Okay. The employer, then we have enough information, will separate between the good and bad workers, ex ante. What does it mean in terms of reality here? Well, ex ante is before the fact, in terms of prediction. But ex ante here, we can refer it to the point of signing the contract. Right? We have not signed the contract yet. We're trying to identify still who's good, who's bad. Right? So under this condition, if you are the employer and you can separate between the good and bad workers, then the job market will be in the separating equilibrium condition. This is efficient, an equilibrium that we want, good equilibrium. The bad type wouldn't mind this equilibrium because the bad type would get the wage appropriate to their marginal productivity. Right? They get paid less. But if the job market collapses, they wouldn't get paid anyway, and that's worse. Okay? So the wage would be efficient wage based on or set based on marginal productivity instead of average productivity. Okay? Once again, we've discussed this. If the signal is cheap, any monkey can do it. Right? We have a short coconut tree, right? If you're a good climber, monkey will say, look, human, if you're that good, climb this coconut tree. The very tall one, not the short one. The short one, any human can do it. Doesn't have to take monkey. Right? Okay. Now, let's move to a sort of corporate context. Because you're here because you're interested in finance, right? Not so much in the job market. You don't care about job. You don't care about pay. You just work for the quality of work. You're good workers. High in spirit. Low in pay, just like me. I'm high, low pay, high spirit. Okay. but I get paid. This is your tuition, come from your tuition fees. Thank you very much. I also got lunch. I get paid, not free lunch, because I have to teach. I get lunch only on weekends. Right? And your fees pay for my lunch. The budget is 100 baht. Very proud. Okay, corporate context. Now let's suppose you finished, you graduated very successfully and gracefully from this program, and you're CEO of firm A. Firm A, you know that you're insider, you know the firm, you know your firm, okay, you know your growth options, growth opportunities. So you know that your firm has high true quality or intrinsic value, high true value. Your firm has high true value. Okay. Your peer, firm B, has low value, is a truly low value firm. Now, your firm, firm A, and your peer, firm B, are priced the same. High value and low value, but priced the same. And you are worried. What kind of price should we observe? Suppose your true value is 15. I always stay around these figures because it's easy to work with. And 10 is firm A, your firm B. And you feel worried. Here, you have to tell the market that, look, you are 15 baht per share firm, not 10 baht. In this situation, guess, what would be your guess for the observed market price? I'm asking you a question that goes backwards. What would be the observed market price that made you worried? In this question, are you worried or are you not worried? You're worried. You want to send signal. There's got to be a problem, right? There's got to be a problem. There's got to be some sort of pulling equilibrium condition going on here. Okay? What's the price? Maybe 50-50. Observed market price is 12.5. I could turn the structure of the question around and say, suppose the observed market price is 12.5 and the true value, that is the value that reflects the true quality of your firm, is 15. Right? That's your firm and your peer is 10. But the market price is the same for the both firms, 12.5. Same thing, right? You have the same structure. I just asked you for the first round backwards. All right. In my course, you need to think like this, to be able to think like this. So to be able to think like this, or to see this, you must not memorize. You must try to understand. Logic, work on logic, reasoning, right? Not memorizing. Okay? I train my, I don't mean to be arrogant. The students who get an A from me will do well. I want to make sure that's the case. So far in my career, I have a record to prove. I have some evidence. Right? Not that I'm good, but I stick to what is right. Okay. So, right. Now, this is the question that I want to ask. But before that, I want to ask you, this is the observed market price. Suppose this is the case. Is the market efficient or inefficient? Your students in master's degree in finance, not just a bachelor degree. You've done Fin Theory 1. is market efficient? Is this price an efficient price? Is this price a correct price? What is the definition of an efficient price? Sorry? True, reflects a true value. But how would the market know? Yeah, price that reflects all of the available information. Right? You could go weak firm, and then what? Semi strong firm, blah blah. Good to understand. Read, I think Pharma 1980, market efficiency 1, and then read Pharma again, 1992, I can't remember, market efficiency 2. Doesn't mean much anymore. Right. So it should be, now talking about in terms of return predictability. Okay, but anyway, people still talk about, what again? Weak form, semi-strong form, strong form. That was for me to study, trying to understand. Okay, but my generation is sort of the last generation to stick our mind on this sort of form. Okay. Things have moved on. Okay. So does its price then reflect all of the publicly available information? Does it? It does. Because of adverse selection. The market does not know which one is which. Right? If you don't know which one is which, how can we price correctly? So the price is efficient. It reflects all of the publicly available information. Is the information biased? No, it's not biased. If investors don't know which one is which, and the probability in the distribution, the probability distribution is 50-50, then the price is a midpoint. Okay. All right. So be very careful when you think the market is efficient or, in particular, inefficient. If you scream out that the market is inefficient, you're effectively saying that you are only the smart guy, smart person in the world. The rest of the investors in the market are stupid. If you say the market is inefficient, can you beat the market? You get a lot of gurus, right? They come in on channels or talk on radios, super guru, right? And they say that stock price goes sideways. In the morning goes sideways. I teach finance. I do not know how to estimate the sideways movements. I only know sigma, up and down. Sideways I don't understand. Right? Now, the question I have, those who say, okay, this stock is good, buy this stock. Hold that stock, sell that stock. If your information is that good, you believe in your information, why don't you take positions yourself? Why you come out and tell other people? Keep the information, sell the information to institutions who can take large positions and make a lot of money. Why come out and go blah, blah, blah? Personally, that's a question that I have. Maybe, to analyze it, the gain they make from selling whatever information that they have is larger than the gain, right, they would expect from utilizing information. Because if the gain from utilizing the information is negative when taking into account transaction costs, then it's better for them to do some other activity. Okay. Anyway, coming back here, how would you tell the market that your firm is a good type?
Doesn't this question links to the point that we made with analysts making claims? Basically, if analysts were to sit at home and do research, they don't come out and tell the market that they have done the research and the price should be, 10% above this price,
Mm-hmm.
then the price wouldn't reflect, that information, right? So nobody had said or had made the point.
You can say that. You can say that. That's for analysts, right? So one role of analysts in the capital market is intermediation, informational intermediation. Yeah, yeah, that's true. But then again, there exists market for analysts. If the forecasts are always inaccurate, analysts go out of the job market. Yeah. So some analysts are highly paid. Okay, some analysts are still analysts, right? And they just write reports based on regulatory requirements, and that's it. Okay, and analysts that we observe, right? That we observe their reports in general are sell-side analysts. Okay, there also exists buy-side, and very often I would say that we don't even know if this is a buy-side. We work in the same firm, and he's a buy-side, I wouldn't even have a clue. Right? Because the buy-side, if you think this stock is worth taking position, long position, right? It's worth buying, okay, he won't tell anybody. He won't let, because if other people buy, the price will move. And his profitability, expected profitability will go down. Okay, so a buy-side buy-sides are basically analysts who work for fund managers, for funds. Of course, sell-side in a given firm, right, or association or affiliation, sell-side analysts also send their reports to institutions as well. Okay, institutions take a look at the reports from sell-side as well. So the fact that your reports, right, or fund managers or institutions ask for his reports does not mean that he's a buy-side. Okay, I love to get buy-side reports, buy-side forecasts. I love that to test, right? Because sell-side reports are biased, we know that. There's plenty of evidence of that. Okay. Now, back here, your CEO, how do you tell the market? Okay, get analysts, but analysts to do forecasts. What if you miss the forecast? If you miss analyst forecast, analysts will come back to give you a whack. Next round we won't cover you. But analyst forecast can be viewed as cheap talk. It's cheap talk. Just get analysts to cover. Imagine yourself as analyst. You talk to a firm, right? The firm gives you this number, so you cover the stock, right? And you say, okay, recommendation, strong buy. I'm not sure in Thailand whether there's a strong buy, I'm not sure. Strong buy, okay? And the target price is here, the forecast, right? But actually, 3 quarters down the road, the price is never there. As analysts, how would you feel about the firm? So that's not, it doesn't really guarantee as such. What else? Guarantee about the true quality. What does it mean, true quality? Good cash flows. The firm is in the business to make profit, right? To make good cash flows. So got to flex some muscle and show that expected cash flow is good. For example, you could say you increase dividends, take on more debt, borrow more if you could, just borrow more. We'll come back to this. Okay, this is for something for you to think about. Now another solution. So far we've been talking about signaling. Another solution is screening. Here, the uninformed party offers, takes action. Right? The uninformed party takes action now. Offer a contract to distinguish among the types. Okay? For example, a performance-related contract. The problem here, it has the same structure. Okay, job applicant, still the same. Say same example, that's fine. Okay. In this case, well, we can't rely on the transcript, let's say, because all programs nowadays around the world, let's say, sort of as long as you pay the fee, you get your degree type of contract, type of program. How about this? Offer performance-related contract. Fixed portion of the wage is very tiny. The rest, you generate income, you get paid. If you don't generate any income, don't make any sales, you're not going to get paid. Let's say commission-based type contract. Okay. So which type, high quality type or low quality type, would be willing or would be better off with this type of contract? High quality commission-based. Because they know if they're going to work hard. They know that they're good. So they'd be better off with commission, not fixed pay. Okay? Do you think I would be willing to get on fixed pay, or I prefer large fixed pay or commission?
Commission.
Fixed pay?
Commission.
So I'm poor quality? I can see your future here in this course. I mean, the both will be good. Okay, for me. Okay. So that obviously the high quality type has incentives because they're better off. Why better off? They make more money from the commission base. Okay, at least they know they're not lazy. Okay. But of course, then systematically speaking, in this case, if we're going to have to assume or model, okay, revenue as a function of being hardworking. Okay, other things constant, of course, ceteris paribus. Okay, but of course you have to be smart as well. Okay, in reality. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back to moral hazard.